Cassie loved old houses. She loved their creaky floors and the stories hidden in their walls. So when she found the old manor house for sale, she knew she had to have it. The house stood tall and proud, with ivy crawling up its sides. It was like something out of a fairy tale. Cassie felt a thrill of excitement as she stepped inside. The air was cool and damp, filled with the scent of dust and old wood. Sunlight streamed through dusty windows, illuminating cobwebs in the corners. Cassie ran her fingers along the worn banister, imagining the hands that had rested there before. This house had a history. She could feel it, and she couldn't wait to be a part of it. The first few days in the house were blissful. Cassie spent her time unpacking boxes and exploring every nook and cranny. The house was full of surprises, hidden cupboards, secret drawers, and a dusty old library with floor-to-ceiling bookshelves. At night, curled up by the fireplace with a cup of tea, Cassie felt a sense of peace she had never known before. But the house was old, and old houses make noises. The floorboards creaked beneath her feet. The wind howled in the chimney, rattling the windows in their frames. Sometimes late at night, Cassie thought she heard other noises too, faint whispers just at the edge of hearing. They seemed to come from the walls themselves. Cassie told herself it was just the house settling. Every old house had its quirks. One night, Cassie was lying in bed, trying to ignore the howling wind outside. The house seemed to groan around her. Suddenly she heard it, clear as day, a whisper close to her ear. "Get out!" Cassie sat bolt upright in bed, her heart pounding. Had someone broken in? She listened intently, but there was nothing except the sound of her own ragged breathing. It was just the wind, she muttered to herself, pulling the blankets tight. But deep down, a seed of unease had been planted. The whispers started to become a regular occurrence. They came at night, always the same two chilling words: "Get out." Sometimes they were soft, barely audible. Other times they were loud, echoing through the empty rooms. Cassie tried to ignore them. She played music, listened to the radio, even tried talking to herself to drown out the sound. But the whispers persisted, growing stronger, more insistent. Fear began to gnaw at the edges of Cassie's peace. She found herself jumping at shadows, her sleep disturbed by nightmares. The house, once a source of comfort, now felt oppressive, suffocating. One particularly stormy night, Cassie sat huddled on the sofa, a book trembling in her hands. She couldn't concentrate. The whispers seemed louder than ever, swirling around her, mocking her fear. Then she heard it, a different sound, a slow, deliberate knock. It came from the basement door. Cassie froze, her blood turning to ice. She had never been in the basement. The door was old and warped, secured with a heavy padlock. No one could be down there. The knocking came again, louder this time, echoing through the silence of the house. It was like something was begging to be let in. Terror threatened to consume Cassie, but a strange resolve began to bloom within her. She had to know. She had to face whatever was lurking in the darkness below. Grabbing a heavy candlestick from the mantelpiece, Cassie crept towards the basement door. Her hand shook as she reached for the padlock. Taking a deep breath, she fumbled with the lock until it finally sprang open with a heavy clang. The air in the basement was thick and musty, the darkness absolute. Holding the candlestick out in front of her like a beacon, Cassie took a hesitant step down the creaking wooden stairs. Each step sent shivers of fear down her spine, but she pressed on, her heart pounding against her ribs. The whispers grew louder as Cassie descended. They seemed to be coming from the very walls themselves, closing in on her, suffocating her. "Get out!" they hissed, their tone sharp and urgent. Then Cassie saw it, a faint glow emanating from beneath a pile of old furniture in the far corner of the basement. As she approached, her heart pounding in her chest, the whispers reached a deafening crescendo. Cautiously, Cassie moved the furniture aside, revealing a small, bricked-up alcove. And then it happened. From the center of the bricks, a single pale hand burst forth, its fingers grasping at the air. Cassie screamed, dropping the candlestick, her voice echoing through the darkness. The hand retreated back into the wall as quickly as it had appeared, leaving Cassie trembling in the suffocating darkness. The whispers ceased. Silence descended once more.